Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online need new content. I think that that's pretty obvious at this point, and the game in general has been pretty stagnant for a while now, and no new content means nobody's playing the game. And granted, I'm sure a lot of you got the game for Christmas now and just started playing the story and are experiencing everything everyone else already has for the last few months now, but you're in a minority, and for the most of us, we need to see some changes soon. And I'm not sure how frequently this game is going to be updated, but I messaged Rockstar myself about DLC and whatnot, and, you know, if we could expect any at any time soon here. And, well, they basically told me to f*** off, and they are focused on quote-unquote stability of online currently. And this game needs some DLC, and I think that it'd benefit greatly from some basic DLC. And this is really basic, as in something that's literally already in the game, and that's the legendary animals within the story mode. All they need to do is implement some legendary animals into the online mode, and there you go. That could be some interesting DLC, right? Because we don't have any legendary animals in the online mode, but they could also expand on this, and then maybe they could implement an even bigger legendary animals DLC. Maybe you could have to go and grab a partner or two, and then maybe you'll be able to go on a scripted mission that takes you and your friends into a legendary hunt. Now, obviously, we could get the basic, you know, grizzly bears, wolves, and cougars, and elks, and whatnot, but what I'm really wanting out of this is paranormal stuff like cryptid creatures, things like Bigfoot. So imagine if you could go into tall trees and hunt the Bigfoot in the forest there, because if you remember from Red Dead Redemption 1, John Marston kills all the Bigfoot in that game, and he even kills the last existing one, or at least if you decide to, you can kill him. And if you consider that, well then, since the online mode and even the story mode takes place before the events of Red Dead Redemption 1, then I think it'd be safe to say that we could be seeing Bigfoot still roaming around the woods and, you know, thriving. And not only that, I'm envisioning things like other several hunts we could go on, you know, stuff like Yetis up in northwest Amberino, or a swamp monster in the swamplands of the Lemoyne Bayou area, maybe something like the creature of the Black Lagoon, or something bigger even. There's also a huge lake in the game known as the Flatiron Lake, and they could literally add a sea monster or something, and, you know, just imagine going out there with a friend or two on a steamboat in a thunderstorm. It would be really atmospheric, and it would be tons of fun. Just think about that. I mean, that would be crazy. The thing that I didn't like about the legendary hunts in the story mode were that they were honestly quite boring. In fact, the only one that I actually enjoyed was the first legendary animal you encounter, and that's the grizzly bear, and there's an actual story leading up to it. And when the grizzly bear comes out of nowhere all of a sudden, it's the most terrifying thing ever, and the whole setup of it was just better in general. It actually made hunting the bear an experience, unlike the rest of the animals in the game. The rest of the legendary animals, well, all it took was finding a clue, and then another clue, and then another clue, and then eventually shooting up the animal from a long range with like a scoped rifle or something, and boom, that's it. That's actually incredibly boring, and honestly, I don't see why they didn't put more effort into these legendary animals. They should have scripted each and every legendary animal like a mission. The impact of the achievement for getting that animal would be much greater, and to be honest, they really missed out on this. They really should have made the legendary hunts a lot better. I think what they need to do with Red Dead Redemption 2 right now is release some freaking DLC. It doesn't have to be legendary hunts, but I'm just making a suggestion here. The game has been dwindling in player count, and it's not doing so well on platforms like Twitch and YouTube, and honestly, we really just need some DLC right now. It's not happening because apparently they're focused on the online mode stability, and they're trying to fix bugs and stuff, which is great, but where is the DLC? I mean, they've already planned stuff out for the DLC season, and I'm sure they already have some content ready to go, but where is it? They've said that they'd focus on DLC in quote-unquote early 2019, and they tell us something like that because they don't want to have us hold them to their word, because they know that they're not good at that. Rockstar is notorious for being untimely and having a rough production of their games for some reason, and I think that when they say that, is 100% likely that we could be seeing new content come out around March or even April at the latest, because that is of course still early 2019 technically. These days the game world is moving pretty fast, and people's attention spans only last for so long, and there's no denying that Red Dead's player count is dropping quickly here. In fact, I haven't played the game seriously for weeks now personally, because there is quite literally nothing to do. if I do get on to play, I'm usually just playing around for 30 minutes to an hour, wreaking some havoc on the town, and then I'll just get off. We need some content here, you guys, and honestly, I think that a Legendary Hunt DLC would be an amazing place to start. I definitely think that everyone would love to see this because, again, I think that what makes Red Dead Redemption 2 the game that it is the story and the characters, and we just need more of that, especially when DLC comes out. There needs to be more scripted events with dialogue and emotion and conflict. It's just not there for things like the legendary hunts in the game, and I definitely think that they could improve upon this in the future of the game with DLC. There is just so much we could look forward to, and I always feel like I have to reiterate this for the people that are going to say this idea is ridiculous, but it's not. There are plenty of paranormal things in the game already, from ghosts to UFOs and even undead people. The game is already teeming with paranormal things, so there's no reason to think that they couldn't, have things like Bigfoot or Yetis or werewolves, etc. out there in the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 or Red Dead Online. There's just so much that they could do here with the DLC. I mean, they even have vampires in the game, and I mean, come on. There's a lot of stuff here in this game that could make us think that they could be leading towards some paranormal stuff in the future. And among all of these things, they could also implement other things like a heist-themed DLC that revolves around huge robberies or something. You know, there's plenty of stuff to look forward to, but right now, all I ever see people talk about is how they lassoed someone and left them on a mountain or something, or how they went fishing all day just to sell their fish later for a few $100 or something. Wow, that's so much fun, but we really need to see something more exciting happen here soon, and I hope that when, they say early 2019 for a new DLC and content, that they mean early January, because anything later than that, well, it would be really disappointing. And anyways, what would you guys like to see come to the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online? I mean, here's a whole list of various creatures that they could implement in this game. Just think of the possibilities, and just think about all the ways we could hunt these animals. And even if they didn't script these events, maybe they could just make it simple, and maybe they can make it exactly the way that the story mode had these animals. Maybe you could just go find some clues or something and kill the animals. At the end of the day, it's really just more content, and that's what we're really looking forward to, is just to get more new stuff in the game to keep us playing, because that's, at the end of the day, what we want to do. Is we want new content, and we want to go on more adventures. It's really that simple. I really wish we could dive underwater in this game. I think that they obviously had so much to do that they left out the diving underwater in this game, because it was just too much to work on with the whole game in general. But imagine if they had underwater areas in the game. Think about all the stuff that we could find, hidden treasure chests or underwater caves or sunken ships. There's plenty of various cool things, but again, I'm pretty sure they left it out because they already had tons of work to do on the main area of the game where it took place, aka the land. So I think that, maybe in the future they could add an underwater DLC or something, and maybe they could actually put some work and time into that, because I mean, maybe you could find pirate ships under the water or something, because of course you can find some various pirate Easter eggs around the world of the game, and it's just pretty interesting to see that, there's all of these Easter eggs that they implemented, and just to think that they could have added way more underwater things, and man, it would be really cool. I don't know, it's just a random thought that I had here, but other than that, let me know down in the comment section below what you think about all of this. Do you think that some legendary hunts involving some cryptid creatures like Bigfoot, Yetis, werewolves, etc. could be really cool? Because I personally think that that kind of stuff, the paranormal side of things, is always something that I'm looking forward to the most. And honestly, if Undead Nightmare comes out anytime soon, that would be my dream DLC. That is literally the #1 thing that I'm looking forward to in any video game in 2019, to be honest. And 2019 hasn't even started yet here, and I'm just really hoping that we get to see something, because there's been a lot of Undead Nightmare Easter eggs in the game that have been pointing towards an Undead Nightmare sequel. So I'm really excited to see if that happens. And if anything, I think they could be implementing these legendary animal hunts like the Bigfoot, the Yeti, and all these cryptids that I'm coming up with. They could be implementing that in a future Undead Nightmare DLC, if anything, if they don't implement this DLC that I'm envisioning. So that's going to be it. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think about all of this, what you want to see and whatnot. But other than that, please leave a like and subscribe, because it only does take a second out of your day to make mine. And with that out of the way, have a wonderful day and see you in the next one.